Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Commanders player gets brutally honest about Cowboys situation ahead of Week 12 clash. The Dallas Cowboys are struggling immensely, having won only 3 games out of the 10 they've played in the 2024 season. The latest setback was an embarrassing loss at AT&T Stadium to the in-state rival Houston Texans, extending their winless streak at home. The Cowboys are back in action on Sunday against the division rival Washington Commanders, who are 7-4 through 11 games. The Commanders feature former Dallas defensive end Dorrance Armstrong, who played 6 years with the team before signing a 3-year, $45 million deal with Washington during the offseason. And ahead of Sunday's matchup, Armstrong was asked how he views what's happening with his former club, and gave nothing short of a blunt assessment, via The Athletic's Ben Standig on X. Question: What is your sense about what's happening in Dallas with the Cowboys? Armstrong: It's not good. I'll leave it at that. The Commanders are in a much better position than Dallas is, and you can bet that Armstrong isn't regretting his decision to depart the Cowboys. After playing collegiately at Kansas, Armstrong was selected by the Cowboys with the 116th pick in the 4th round of the 2018 NFL Draft. He appeared in all 16 games during his rookie campaign, starting 15 of them. He finished with 13 tackles. Overall with Dallas, he racked up 23.5 sacks, 47 quarterback hits, and 22 tackles for loss. In his final year with the Cowboys, he amassed 7.5 sacks, good for 6th among all NFC defensive ends. His move to the Commanders reunited him with former Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, who took over as head coach in Washington in February of this year. So far this season, he has 23 tackles, 10 solo, with 3 sacks and a forced fumble. Sunday's game will also feature the first time that Quinn has faced the Cowboys since taking the role of Washington's head coach. Mixed shots, Fassel adds special human element. There is so much doom and gloom surrounding the Cowboys these days. The unexpected 3-7 record. The 5-game losing streak, longest since the 7-gamer of 2015, the season ending in a 4-12 record. The Cowboys starting 4 quarterbacks that season with starter Tony Romo in for just 4 games, completing just 2 of them, helping the Cowboys to win 3 of them. 3rd place in the NFC East, but just 1 game removed from joining the last-place Giants, 2-8. And then the injuries, one after another, including in the 34-10 loss to Houston on Monday night, losing tight end Jake Ferguson to a concussion and finishing the game with 3/5 of their starting offensive linemen missing. And that doesn't even account for already missing Dak Prescott, Brandon Cooks, Darren Bland, DeMarcus Lawrence, Marshawn Kneeland, Amani Oruwariye, Jordan Lewis and Sam Williams, all either projected starters or having started. But this week, we've been reminded that these guys are not robots, they are not mercenaries. They are human beings with real feelings. Real emotions. The coaches, too. Take special teams coach John Fassel. The 3 coordinators stepped to the press conference podium the day after games, Fassel, Mike Zimmer and Brian Schottenheimer, as they did Tuesday afternoon after the Monday Night Football loss to the Texans. Fassel was asked about his special teams ace Marquise Bell, who suffered an early second-quarter injury while covering a Houston fumbled-around kickoff they finally retained. Bell came diving in, one arm out, trying to tackle the Texans' Damian Pierce. He landed on his right shoulder, arm stretched out. Was in serious pain. Ends up seriously dislocating his shoulder according to Fassel, suffering a torn ligament but also a fractured bone under the shoulder, out for the season and needing surgery. Fassel was asked about Bell. The 50-year-old Fassel, in his 20th year coaching in the NFL and 5th with the Cowboys, got emotional. Shook his head a while. Couldn't speak for a good 10 seconds. Needed to compose himself. Reached down under the podium to take a swig of bottled water, consuming another 10 seconds to further gather himself. He's played as good a special teams ball over 10 games that I can ever remember, Fassel begins. Man, he has just been unbelievable. He got hurt doing what he does best, just flying in there, diving. He's going to be okay, but man, gosh. We tend to forget personal relationships are formed among players with coaches. And when a guy like Bell gives so much of himself, having played 168 special teams snaps in 10 games this season after starting 9 of 17 games last year, stepping in to man the big nickel linebacker spot, that creates a soft spot in many a heart out here at the Star. Darn, I'm hurting for him because he was on a mission, as good as we've had in a while, Fassel reveals. That one hurt. Fassel has developed a special teams scoring system by ranking players for various achievement plays on special teams. Bell was leading the pack according to Fassel, saying the third-year safety was going to break his scoring record. These young men are very human. They want so much out of their careers, and I want it for them, he says. Man, when you're in that foxhole with them, and they fight, got their backs, you know. Saw Marquise this morning, and probably why I was so emotional, about 10 o'clock this morning went in the training room. He had the whole thing slinged up, and he was emotional, too. These are the things we forget, so focused on tangible results, winning and losing, performance ratings, rankings, that a game played in helmets and pads disguises these emotional scars. Peyton Manning makes brutal dig at Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones during 2024 CMAs. Peyton Manning couldn't resist taking a swipe at the Dallas Cowboys' miserable season during his hosting duties at the Country Music Awards Wednesday night. The NFL legend joined country music stars Luke Bryan and Lainey Wilson Bridgestone Arena in Nashville as he hosted the awards show for the third year running. But the former quarterback's focus didn't stray too far from the football field as he made a joke at the Cowboys and Jerry Jones's expense during the opening monologue. Co-host Wilson gave a shout-out to Kelsea Ballerini, who was nominated for Female Vocalist of the Year and Musical Event of the Year for Cowboys Cry 2 featuring Noah Kahan. "Come on, give it up for Kelsea," Wilson said as the camera panned to Ballerini sat in the audience with boyfriend Outer Banks actor Chase Stokes. "This is the year we discovered that Cowboys cry, too," she added. "All right, that's enough about Jerry Jones," the NFL Hall of Famer then chimed in, referencing the Cowboys owner. Peyton's quip was a clear dig at the Dallas franchise, who was enduring a miserable 2024 season. Dallas suffered more humiliation on Monday night, when the Texans secured a blowout win and the AT&T Stadium roof collapsed. The Cowboys are now 3-7 for the season and are the only men's American pro team across the NBA, MLB, NHL, MLS and NFL without a home win in 2024. That has piled the pressure on head coach Mike McCarthy and the team's billionaire owner. After Monday's game, Jones branded suggestions that McCarthy has lost the locker room so overblown. He also claimed tough seasons like this are inevitable if you stay in this league long enough. Jones's claims earned him comparisons to President Joe Biden by analyst Stephen A. Smith, who blasted his interventions. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Peyton Manning? Leave your opinion in the comments.